Good one. There's a few other pictures on there too.
Okay, we are online. We are still live though.
We've got a clock that works.
It's really impressive.
It is. That still has a little.
Were you nervous?
Yes.
Should be.
Yeah, that was part of our capital strategy. So the clock that you're all looking at, and it's almost fully integrated. This is part of the new security system, alarming and messaging. Very, very loud. Obviously, it's got the time and date. This is part of the alarm and security system. If you have to use it, it's going to be.
That's why I heard earlier when that.
Yes. Right.
Because that felt like that person was in my head. Everybody else asked, what's that? What are these? Are they the elementary school?
Yes. Yep, working on it.
All right. And pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with approval of the minutes. Did anyone have any questions, changes, comments about the minutes? No? All right, all in favor of approving last meeting's minutes? All right, all are in favor. All right, we're going to forego the formal business budget presentation, but did want to see if any of the board members wanted to comment on the progress that we've made so far. I mean, I will just say that this is the least fun part of our jobs, and the hardest part of the jobs. We're trying to balance what's best for the kids, making sure jobs are saved, making sure that we have a safe, supportive environment here, while also making sure that we're not, shooting ourselves in the foot later down the road. So it's really about being prudent, and that's challenging.
I will just add, one of the things that I was charged with bringing to the board, and Stephanie as well, is just ideas for things. And those ideas come from things that have been recently added. Most notably, many of the things that have been up for discussion were things that were added due to COVID and COVID funds, which for many, many years, we talked about them being sustainable over time. So those are some of the items that are up for discussion. We hope by April 1st, we should have some really good numbers. We'll have final health insurance rates by that time, and some other things might be a little bit more clear. Ms. Scala will have a clearer picture on the programming for special education, because there'll be more meetings at that point. So this is never easy. I commend you guys. This is very hard for me. I know it's very, very hard for you. But ultimately, this is the role with the community to try to find something that balances the community wants, needs for what's best for kids.
Yeah, I think one thing just to add to that we were discussing is the realization that every cut that we made last year, none of those things are back in the budget. They were, once we cut it, they're gone, and that's the sensitivity that we have. So even if it's because maybe we have a retirement and we decide not to backfill that person, probably not going to easily get that position back anytime soon, because it means adding that back to your budget. So those are the tougher decisions about how we want to handle that, because once it's gone, for the most part, it's gone. All right, any other questions or comments?
Steph, do you just want to, for the public, just go over the timeline for the budget process?
Yeah, so we have a meeting on April 1st. I think by then, like Dr. Maloney said, we'll have our final health insurance rates. We'll have some other things solidified. So by then, we'll really have to have a discussion of what the gap is at that point and any of the cuts we want to make. And then on April 21st, the meeting after that will be April 21st, and that's when we'll have to adopt the budget. And then work on the newsletter and all that stuff to get it out to the public.
All right.
Thank you. Great. Anybody have any questions or any other comments? Okay, it'll be a work in progress. it's a pleasure to invite our new food service director, Louise Lance, who is with us today. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to meet her, but I'm hoping that the kids will chime in. Louise has done an absolutely fantastic job bringing some new ideas and some thoughts together with our food service programs. Hopefully, for those of you that have kids in school, they've had an opportunity to share that with you. But Louise has got a presentation for you today. Here, you can turn on over here. You say that.
Hello. Well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be the new food service director. It's been a fun year. One of the first things that I did when I first started was I had a realization that the way that the system was working, the nurses give me all the allergen information of the students, and then I've spent last summer building this, I ended up making this book. So it's,
No, I'm just gonna put it
Can't
on the
hear
table
me?
so people can hear you.
oh, sorry. So I had the information from the nurses, and then I was building all the ingredients into our Link Nutrition program. And there was a gap because when the students come through the line with their tray of food, all the cashiers are looking for to make sure they have 3 or 5 components. And then something will pop up and say they're allergic to milk, which is easy if it's pizza or something that they know milk is in. But when there's citric acid, pineapple, or soy in different things, nobody would know that they were in the different ingredients. So I decided to make a book for each station, each cashier, and it's got all the ingredients in of each product that we sell. And then when it pops up, the cashiers already looked through what we're serving that day. So when anything pops up for the student, they know that student. And that was difficult for the staff at first because they didn't want to tell a student no. So that did cause a few problems at the beginning until they get used to how to say it. But I feel like that's been a really great addition. And now in the elementary school, the cashier starts out the day and she tells everybody what the allergens are. And then in the middle school, the students are looking at it with the cashiers to look for nutrition, and the same in the high school. So so that was the first thing that was really important to me, especially with Laura Freddie helped me do the design because her children. So it's really important to her. So it's a great catch. Let's see. We also removed peanut butter, which some parents didn't like. We stopped serving peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But from a staff perspective, even passing something to a child with fresh gloves on, they were worried that there was going to be cross-contamination. And when you see how many children are allergic to it, it was a great thing to just take off for safety. So, and we do have still allergy tables if people bring it from home. So we're not taking it away altogether. We have been using the government programs as a pilot program for DoD Fresh, which is fresh fruits and vegetables. And the pilot program, we've been buying our fruit and vegetables from a local company called Capital Roots. So the children are getting to have things like beets, sweet potatoes, grapefruit, oranges. We've expanded the whole selection of fruit. And when they go through the line now, they've got a nice variety of fresh fruit and vegetables every day. This year, with the procurement, we get a certain amount, I think we get about 50, let's see. We get about $59,000 worth of product from the government for foods that we buy. So we get some things like frozen broccoli and frozen vegetables, and then we get like pulled chicken, things like that. And then we also get to purchase products like chicken nuggets and things like that. But the company that I've chosen this year, we've tasted at the food shows. They do have some non-gluten products, and they also have a nicer quality of food. So even though they are chicken nuggets, they've got less ingredients in them, so they're a better quality. So we're going to be having some of those products this year. It's called Rich Chicks instead of Tyson. So we're doing a switch. We're in the process right now of having everybody Safe Serve certified. So everybody in the kitchen will have some general food handler standards from the New York State. So that's really good. let's see, we've had a Questar team building workshop with all the staff to get everybody working together. And the next thing that we'll be doing is CPR training, so that everybody's certified CPR, because we're in a cafeteria, so it makes sense that we would all have that, just so we're working together. We changed over we used to prepare all the breakfast over in the high school, and then I've separated it, so there's 2 different staff members now. One's doing the high school and one's doing the elementary, and we're actually increasing breakfast again right now. So we have about 30, average daily participation is about 35% for breakfast, and it's about 60% for lunch. And I'm hoping that we can increase those with more children coming in, trying the food, and that the quality is nice, so I'm hoping we'll get more children having the food. Another thing I changed is the bistro menu. We have an after-school snack program. I'm on the process of filling out to see if we can get a free or some reimbursement back for a snack program instead. But I kept hearing children saying there were athletes they couldn't eat because they had to weigh in for a certain sport. So then we made posters to go in the cafeteria of foods that they could choose that would support their athletic performance, instead of thinking that they had to starve or that they couldn't eat. So we're trying to teach them healthier eating options for that. And think of it as fueling and supporting your body. We did also reduce some workplace. When I first started, the big main freezer at the back was towers of food that were falling over, and it was nobody. I sent people in twos to go to the freezer to get things because I didn't want anyone to get stuck in the freezer. So now the freezers have been cleaned out. Anything that was outdated has been disposed of, and everything's in nice, neat towers. So I'm actually using it on the menu, which is easier to see too. And that's a lot of the government product that we do get. We've had upgrades for safety gear. We get cut-resistant gloves, high-quality knives, new digital thermometers, and then ergonomic mats that are easier on your back if you're on your feet all day. And then looking forward, I've been working with Cornell Cooperative Extension to help get us into the 30% New York State reimbursement program. And apparently it's a lot of work to do it, but she's teaching me how to do it, and then what products to get. And we did have to ask Questar to see if we could put those products in the bid. So we're working to get those in, and then we can do things like New York State Thursdays, just to try and use more New York State foods and get that extra. It should be about 20,000 extra revenue that we would get for that, which would be good. We're also doing, on the 14th of May, we're going to be working with Cornell Cooperative Extension again, and also Brigade. It's a company that was started by a chef, Ryan Kennedy, and he decided not to be a chef in a restaurant anymore. He went to work in schools and do more scratch cooking. So they're going to be coming here on the 14th of May, and we're going to be making homemade mac and cheese, a butternut squash homemade mac and cheese as samples, so the children can at least be introduced to it. We're going to be making a fresh kale salad, and some black bean brownies, because we haven't done a dessert yet, but those are all going to be New York State products. So we're excited for that, and we're kind of hoping we might have a guest server that day. If you'd be willing to do that, I think it'd be fun for the kids. Let's see. We're hosting the varsity basketball banquet next Saturday, the 28th. They asked us if we would be willing to give them a quote, and we did. And we're really honored that the kids would want to eat the food from school for their party.
I have to stop you there, because I think it's really should be noted that they willingly chose this food service program to do the banquet when they could have done anything. So I have to applaud you. You've done a fantastic job.
It's exciting.
Really, it's been wonderful. And just to see, although I think Pete's tastes like dirt, I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing that, especially with the kids, just giving them an opportunity to try things that they might not have been exposed to. I know she's got a couple other things, but I know last week we talked to you about the grant, the Farmers Table grant. Right now, it's not the best fit for us, but we're going to work on that collectively in the future. But I just kudos to you.
Yeah, I mean, Louise is so passionate about this, and I think it really shines through. It just looks great. You walk through the line, I invite you all to come and just walk through the line and just see how nice things look. Just the presentation and everything is great, and again, her passion just really shines through with everything and all these changes she's made, and it's amazing.
And this,
Yeah.
the staff are incredible.
To our program is food service is supposed to be self-funded by itself. But if for some reason the food service program isn't sustainable itself, the general budget would have to pick it up. So by being a profitable organization, not only does she reinvest back into herself, and she takes the burden off of the regular budget. So there's that value too.
It's exciting. We have a great team in the kitchen, and a lot of them are parents here at the school. So they're really excited that their kids are being exposed to the healthy foods. And that's the main goal, is that we feed the kids healthy food and they can get through the day. We're doing less sugars and more whole grains, so it's exciting. I think that's it. That's all my stuff.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I just want to say the vegetables and the fruits look really, it's a very nice display. I'm very impressed by the display.
You walk through that line.
I'll be at the basketball banquet, so I look forward to it. Thank you.
As a parent of a kid that has a food allergy, I really appreciate you, so thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It is hard when the kids go.
Does anybody have any questions for Louise?
Oh, a quick question about, with the first aid, did they teach the thrust, the stomach thrust, the Heimlich maneuver for first aid for choking? Is that something that's covered?
I believe so.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
Can
it's,
I ask a question? I'm sorry, Louise, because I just read this. Caffeinated drinks? Yeah, that was a bit of a buzz thing that was happening around here for a while.
There was caffeinated drinks in the high school. And some of the sixth graders were coming through to buy them, so we just took them all off.
Okay.
So nobody gets them anymore, which nobody needs them. And then we replaced it with some bubbly seltzers.
Awesome. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think before we move on, like, I just want to say, and I think we all agree, like, it makes us all proud of all the things that you're doing. You know, we continuously hear about it from Angelina and Stephanie, how nice everything looked. Back to the kids love it. I mean, it's really amazing work. So thank you.
how did the salmon go over? You're not a student, Mrs. Lanu.
It actually went pretty well. I was surprised that even the sixth graders were trying it. So,
Seniors, did you try it?
what?
The salmon?
No.
No. We offered multiple choices, so they still had. I tried the drinks.
Okay, we recently met, and most of my time has been working on budget and things like that. So I don't have a tremendous amount to update, but I do have a few things. First of all, I have a request from Mrs. Honorato regarding the professional development and training needed for our new math program. We were fortunate, we discussed this in audit and finance, that we were able to purchase the program this year. And really the best way to implement the new curriculum is to have teachers have their hands on it before summer and to get some professional development on it prior to the start of the school year. And looking at the rest of the timeline and the best and most cost-effective way to do that, one of the recommendations that Mrs. Honorato has to me, which I'm very supportive, but I wanted to share this with the board, is that we offer a 2-hour delay on a day in the future to be determined, where the kids would just come in 2 hours late on a normal schedule, but the teachers would come in regular time and get the appropriate professional development collectively together. And then that way they have some time where they can get some more questions and answer those things. And I'll look to you, Kelly, if you want to add anything to that.
No, that covers it. I mean, I know it's a creative solution that we were exploring internally. We know that there are some other school districts who do some delayed openings during the year for some additional professional development and training. But certainly, you know, it's something that we'd want to think about if it's even possible, or there'd be support for it now, so we can kind of prepare and message things accordingly. I don't know that it's anything we've ever done for the purposes of like a specific training in the school district before, but It was just a thought.
And you think delay as opposed to early close is the better option?
I think personally, I could go either way. I haven't gotten feedback from other folks like teaching staff internally. I think the delayed opening is just a structure that I think people are a little more used to in terms
Sure.
of
That makes
timelines, like families. So if it was something that we move forward with, it's a timeline that families have experienced before at least.
So, and I appreciate this, you know, one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to get a temperature check here to make sure this is something that you feel comfortable with so that Kelly can get this out to the community and message it in advance and be really transparent about what we're doing with that time to make sure that our teachers are fully equipped. And there'll be more training in the future too, but I think this is just the first implementation and they have a lot on their plates, so I'm really supportive of this professional development for them. So. Next is just a construction update. We're kind of in a weird timeline right now where there's things happening, but they might not be able to be seen. You see new devices like this in classrooms. They're still continuing to work on the testing and the implementation of some of these type of security and scheduling and announcement type things. We're getting ready to work on the wastewater treatment plant, which, believe it or not, we're one of only a handful in the whole wide district, but it's some interesting challenges because not only do you have to work with an outside engineering company on a daily basis, we also have to work with the DEC. So we're just working on some pieces, and substantially the work will really begin probably in the summer because we have to take the system offline, and any day that we have to pump our septic system, it costs us at least $1,000. So to take it offline during the regular school is just very, very costly. So we try to find a really good time. DEC would like the repairs and the fixes to be ASAP. So we're just trying to find how we can do that the most cost-effective way. The punch list. So as this first section of the project is coming to a close and you're starting to see the kids on the track, we still have some punch list items to go through. We've made a decision today that the actual track, there's like some color differentiations on there that doesn't impact the playability of it. It's not perfect. They're going to do those in the summer. And the reason they're going to do those in the summer is I don't want to take the track away for a couple days for the kids during the spring. Or I'm sorry, not the track, the field. The track itself, they should be able to, as soon as they have a strip of warm temperatures, they can lay down the asphalt, and then they'll be able to lay down the actual track surfacing. I know last week when it was really, really warm, people get excited and what is going to happen, but they actually have to have a substantial number of days in a row so the ground isn't frozen. And we'll be messaging out that to people. As soon as the asphalt can be on site, the kids can run on it. It's just not that track surface. They know the start of the season. They know when the first meet is, so they've got that really clear. And I've been told we're first on the schedule. So we really just have to wait for Mother Nature to cooperate at this point. The scoreboards and the signage should go in place on the field, so it'll be ready to go. And I think people will see that. We also talked a little bit about the natural turf field. They started back working again. They're working on the underground watering system for the natural turf. One of the things that we talked about extensively today is how to keep people off of the natural turf, because once they lay down the sod and it grows, people are gonna be like, it's great, it's ready to go. But you really have to have one full growing season where people aren't on it. So today we talked about just putting some more, some fencing around it and a lot of really clear signage, because somebody could, with their little kickball team or something, unintentionally destroy that field once it grows in if it's not settled for that long. So we're gonna have to buy some advanced signage to really let people know, like, hey, it's not just a courtesy you're staying off of it, you could actually ruin it. So again, once we get it in this fall, it'll start to look great. We just can't use it until the next season. Food service grant, I already mentioned that. And then lastly, we're just working through the budgetary process and getting those final figures, and I hope to have those for you in the very, very near future. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Honorado.
Good evening, everyone. Next week, we're looking ahead to our kindergarten parent information week. That is coming up at the end of March, and then the following week, we'll have one for UPK for the first time this year. That's something I know I've mentioned with you before, but now we're looking forward to holding those events. We had a meeting last night at the elementary school on community planning to finally build what we call the Tamarack Terrace, which is kind of a landscaped portion of our front lawn around the peace pole, which we'll need to buy a new peace pole. We've had a peace pole for a long time. But this was the vision of members of our character education committee that's really like, I think 14 years in the making.
It was one of the first things that they came to me with when I got here.
Chris Siegenthaler and Nicole Matzer have been involved in this work and in character education for decades in the elementary school. And they were a part of bringing the Peace Pole, which was a part of a bigger movement to support peace and character education in the elementary school years ago that went along with the peace pledge that students recited every morning. And just due to a multitude of factors and certainly COVID, plans got derailed to kind of expand that whole project out the way they wanted to. But now, luckily, with the support of our PTSA and some really generous and dedicated community members, we're gonna work together, hopefully starting April break, to break ground and actually build the terrace. And that is gonna include all of the beautiful commemorative bricks that many community members have purchased. That those will make up the bulk of the terrace, with room to expand from there with personalized bricks in the future. We kind of talked last night about how once we have that visible space and people see kind of what it represents and what it's all about, I think it'll be a nice link to like the past, present, and future of our Tamarack community. So stay tuned for updates on that. And again, our PTSA and some key parent volunteers and community members have just been incredible in embracing and kind of spearheading some project planning for this work.
Yeah, if I could just add, Nicole and Chris have had this vision for a very long time, and over time it's kind of ebbed and flowed, but I think we're in a really good spot. There are some pieces that the district will have to do, including myself, but one of the things that you'll have to do, and I'll have this for you in an upcoming agenda, is you'll have to adopt a SECR report. It's environmental impact. And this is going to be a level 2, which means it's not going down very deep. But anytime you do any of those things, I've been in communication with our attorneys about having volunteers do the work, just to make sure everything is kind of, on the up and up, and that we're covered and things like that. We can do this. The scope has to be modest. So that might be one of our challenging part about keeping people that want to do absolutely wonderful things, just kind of,
Start small.
yeah, start small kind of a thing. I couldn't agree more though with Kelly. I think once people see something like that, that'll be something that people are going to want to get on board. And I also hope that it might trickle over to other things, like maybe our playground and or some other things, that other areas that maybe people have the time and talent. There's a couple of key people that Kelly had mentioned that absolutely just want to give their time and donate, which is absolutely wonderful. That's things that we just couldn't do on our own. So this is really terrific, and I'm looking forward to. I'm nervous, but I'm really looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
It's new, right? We
Yeah.
haven't really done something, but once it's in place, I think it'll also be just a nice reminder of what our community can do when we come together,
point.
So hopefully everything goes fairly smoothly.
Kelly, do the kids still do the peace pledge?
No.
Is that something that we maybe bring back with this, since
We
we're talking
actually
peace
talked
pole?
about it at our building leadership. I mean, I'm totally open to that. I think whether it's the peace pledge or just something that, obviously we'll do our nation's pledge every morning, but then something that's specific to our community, and our kids, incorporating that in a daily routine, is definitely something that I think collectively everybody is open to, whether it is dusting off and bringing back that peace pledge, which would be wonderful, or maybe something a little different. I think there's a real willingness and want to do that now.
Great.
Yeah, and some other things too, some other structures, like we've kind of fell out of like the morning program routine, and maybe we won't do that in the exact same way, but kind of figuring out what everybody has the appetite and desire to do, and just start to build back in those structures.
Anything else for you, Mrs. O? Okay. Paula?
Ms. Wilson, would you like to go before me? I can say something.
Let's see. So, March 13th and 14th were the dates of
the very highly anticipated SpongeBob musical. It was the elementary students came over beforehand to review it very seriously, make sure that it was, presentable for public view. And so it went very well. So it was very successful, and all the friends that I had that participated, like that were casted in the show, they had above and beyond like amazing things to say about it and their journey coming up to the showing dates. And then March 27th is the MORP, which you probably would recognize as the Spring Fling or the Snowball. But the name was changed because I think Mr. Burton said like sometimes whenever they name it Spring Fling, it's like 30 degrees. But whenever they name it the Snowball, it's like 70. So they just decided on MORP instead. And which is prom backwards, by the way. And that's all that I really have.
We would support you calling it the Snowball, by the way. That way we get spring weather all the time.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That's all for me.
So yes, MORP is on the 27th, prom backwards, which is, it's fun. It's a time for a dance that a little less serious than a prom. Maybe the kids who wouldn't be as inclined to go to prom, and especially here in Tamarack where it's juniors and seniors for prom, the MORP is going to be grades 9 through 12. So that just gives more kids the opportunity to come out and have a good time. There's going to be a spirit week leading up to the dance. And I believe that the class of 2026 is putting out the list for that.
It went out.
Is it out?
I saw it.
Okay, good. Okay, because I saw it, but I wasn't sure if it was public. So that's going out for Spirit Week next week. Also, talking about classes and things that they do in order to fundraise and to brainstorm ideas. The class of 2027, they're trying to brainstorm and begin organizing fundraising ideas. And they're looking for additional parent involvement in order to bring those ideas to life. And they're looking to better connect with class of 2027 families. So one of the things that I'm going to do is include a link to a survey in my newsletter tomorrow so that parents can access that, parents of the members of the class of 2027 can access that and share their ideas for fundraising or just great ideas for the class to experience before they graduate. Let's see. Spring sports are in full swing. Modified has yet to start, but our JV and varsity teams have been working hard and kind of taking advantage of the turf and the weather as they can, and then also utilizing our gym space when necessary.
Well, have you got any feedback from kids who are on the turf and using it?
Has anybody been out on the turf yet?
My daughter has, she has that.
What do you think?
Quite nice.
Quite nice.
I think that's important for people to hear because one of the main reasons, and Danielle and Kevin, you guys were here at the time, is when a student came to a board meeting and said, I really think you should get turf, we deserve turf. That was the tipping point. So I'm glad to hear you say that because it was about kids.
It's nice they've had 3 teams practicing out there at the same time the past 2 weeks. I think there's baseball, boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse. So it's nice to see it being used and those practices wouldn't be happening outside, right?
Able to share that space, which is really nice. So yeah, those sports are in full swing. Walked past the gym with baseball in it earlier. It did not smell great, but they were having a good time, so that's good. Like Lena said, SpongeBob the Musical happened over the past weekend, and from my perspective, it was especially fun seeing the Saturday matinee. I am matinee age at this point, and so I really appreciated that they had that, because I was at the show on Friday night also. But the Saturday matinee, seeing all of the families from the community coming in with their kids and grandkids, and it was just a really nice way to see our community come together and see some of the kids who we'll be seeing, up in our schools eventually. So all the littles. Let's see, and I think the last thing that I have on here is that Monday, the 23rd, is tie-dye day in the high school. I did not bring mine. You have yours? Mr. Guthrie comes
and
back.
dry.
Yeah, he washes and dries
For me,
for us. Mr. Guthrie came in and worked with Dr. Shepard in chem classes, so I believe advanced bio, to tie-dye T-shirts, and he was kind enough to make myself and Miss Honorado T-shirts because the tradition started after we both had passed through those classes. You made one? Okay, so I'm a
But
little
it's,
bit
no,
older than her.
it's disintegrated.
But they made us T-shirts, so that's on Monday, the 23rd, tie-dye day in high school.
Paula, I know I mentioned this last time, but I announced graduation.
Yes.
Did you have anything other than date and time and location that you wanted?
Date, 26th, which is kind of fun, 6/26/26 for our class of 26.
I just put that together.
We're looking, you're welcome. We're looking at a morning ceremony, and I think we were thinking 9:30, logistically speaking, to be able to work with the student arrival and dismissal of our kids, who our sixth graders who have to be in school, and then the elementary schoolers who are in and out, and it's their last day, and that's a big deal too. So we wanted to kind of navigate that. So I don't want to say that particular time, that 9:30 time, is set in stone, but that's definitely the direction that we're leaning in. We'll be outside on the turf, and so anyone who prays to a rain god or a good weather god or Mother Nature or whatever we need to do, we'll be doing that in the time leading up to that graduation. But I think it's going to be a really lovely day for our seniors and for their families to celebrate all of their accomplishments.
One piece of feedback from the kids, and it was actually something that Kevin, you had mentioned last year, was about making the stage a little bit longer. So the kids have a little bit longer of a
Yeah.
walk, so we're gonna work with the company that we rent with, or do something internally so that like procession across the stage is a little bit longer.
A little bit more of a moment there. That's all I got.
Besides being bogged down for 8 hours a day with meetings. Anything for you?
It's very busy in the Office of Special Education. Yes, we are having meetings. I say we've had probably at least a third of our meetings so far. I am working with Paula and Bree and the counselors to work on the special ed master schedule. That's kind of the first piece of the schedule at the middle school and high school. So that's kind of coming up. Unified Bowling had their end of the year celebration on Wednesday. Unified Basketball is starting at the end of this month. And we have firmed things up to work with Berlin for summer school for some of our self-contained programs. So we're making some recommendations for that. I think the parents are excited to have that as an option. Just some really good meetings. I enjoy having the high school students at their meetings because they have really good insight. I really ask them at their meetings, what's helpful to them. And so I think they've liked having that voice and that autonomy at their meetings to kind of decide on some of their, program accommodations and modifications.
And for newer members of the board, the decision to actually partner with Berlin for extended school year for kids that need summer programming so that they don't have any regression during the summer was because we were actually losing money by hosting it here. So unless you have a full classroom, which we didn't have enough kids to have a full classroom, it actually cost us more money. So although we'd like to have it here, partnering with a neighboring school actually makes it a more heterogeneous experience for the kids. They get to
And I
interact.
think we're really only looking at like 6 to 8 kids, like 10. It's not that many that qualify for that.
So I mentioned that with budget things because it's every little piece we scrutinize to try to find those opportunities to save money.
So it takes us to committee and liaison updates. I'll go first with just an update from the Curriculum and Assessment Committee. I was on for, I think, 45 minutes. That wasn't very good, but was there for a very good discussion around our views on AI and policy and discussion there. I would say it was a very balanced discussion, looking at all the various facets of it and just the realization of just how complex this issue will be. I don't know, anything you'd want to add, Dr. Maloney?
No, I appreciate the committee to have a, professional conversation. Not all districts are doing this. They're not necessarily looking at it. And I think our staff is taking a really thoughtful way. We recognize that it's here. We recognize the environmental and social impacts of it, but also it's something that our kids need to know about. And it could be a tool to help our teachers have a better quality of their own professional experience, just trying to find that sweet spot. So I appreciate the dialogue.
Yep. Again, we certainly reiterated our desire that this is not a policy that we think the board should come up with, that it really needs to be developed by the teachers and administration in terms of what makes the most sense. And maybe the state will just do that for us, but we'll see. Any other committee updates?
I'll speak for the policy committee. We're working on a use of facilities update for the turf field. The turf field isn't called out, so we need to call, special requirements for the field, the cost of renting the field, and just those general things. We're working on a meeting for that.
We could probably have a recommendation for that for the next meeting. I think we could probably get that in.
I think so. I think it'd be good if we could get together and have a quick discussion on, everything we've thrown together.
Most of the language, we just have to put it in there. Yeah. All right. That takes us to section 8.1 of our agenda, which is the student placement recommendations. There's no real discussion on those, so I'll just do this by consent. All in favor of approving those recommendations in 8.1? All right, that passes. Same with the personnel recommendations. We'll do this by consent as well. All in favor of approving 9.1 through 9.5? Please raise your hand. All right, those pass. All right, that takes us to the superintendent's recommendations for business and finance. Any discussion here? I do want to call out, Kevin, you'll have to help me remember, 10.2 I think still has, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's the donation.
Oh, yes. So we have very generous families making a donation to we have very generous family making a donation to the school district that has a couple children in the district. So we just want to thank them. Yes.
And we referred them to the GE program for the match.
Matching.
Yeah.
Right. So hopefully we get matching funds. So it's actually going to double the
Yep.
donation.
Yeah, would encourage anyone that works for an employer that has a matching program that you're looking to make a donation to the school. It's a great way of doing it and double your investment.
Several years ago, I made a donation to the PTSA, which my employer doubled. So it was a nice bonus for the PTSA.
We're open for donations. I would just mention on 10.1 that you got the periodic reports, the financial reports, so you can see the status throughout the year. This helps a myriad of different things. The purchases that are made, the revenue status, things that are coming in, things that we need to collect, how we're doing with our fund balance, and a myriad of different things. So those are on every month. And if anybody has any questions, Stephanie or I would be happy to answer any of those things. But that kind of gives you a checkpoint on a periodic basis.
Again, these are pretty routine, so we'll do this by consent. All in favor of approving 10.1 through 10.4? Hand. All right, and that passes as well. And that takes us to public comment.
Kylie?
Kylie.
I just had a question about the construction going on and the potholes outside of in the parking lot where the students park, because I know Addie has gotten a flat tire from it. I know I avoid them and literally drive on the other side of the road. So I was just wondering if with the new construction, there's any changes being done with that, or
So the whole parking lot at some point has to be completely ripped up, but it's very, very, very expensive. So right now we intend to patch it. But at some point in the next project, it's got to be completely done over. I'm sorry about your tire.
So I have a question about the gym bleachers. I'm guessing you guys have heard this a lot, but I witnessed an incident at my sister's JV basketball game where there was a parent on her team that was walking down the bleachers and a chunk of the bleacher had slid out from under him and he had fallen. He didn't get seriously hurt, but it was definitely concerning. And also for big basketball games and big events where there's sections of our bleachers missing, it's hard for some people to find seating. So are we planning on fixing those anytime soon?
Yeah, we've actually spent a good number of human resources to actually tighten things up. So they should be in a better place than they were at that time. But we're hoping that through this capital project, there'll be some funds remaining that we might be able to actually replace them. So that's a hope. That's not a problem. It's a hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're old.
My question is towards the construction and everything. I'm just I'm sorry. Now towards I know you said that we'll be working on the turf and track once the heat hits and everything, and once summer comes as well. So I'm just wondering if I can get a reiteration on this. It won't affect any of the sports right now that are playing.
That's the hope. So
okay.
once they do the asphalt part, like they literally put down asphalt, they'll put some kind of a board or something over it so people can get to the track. And then there'll probably be a couple days with the track surfacing that people obviously have to stay off of it. So there might be a day or two that there's an interruption, but the goal is so that we don't miss any games or anything like that.
Okay, and just one more thing. I was just wondering, since we're getting construction done on obviously we had the turf done, is any further construction going on in any of our other fields for the different sports, such as like softball, baseball, or maybe soccer?
The softball and baseball field had some work done to them in the last project, so not on this particular project.
So, hi, my question is, why did the school decide to put like a big generator right in front of the special ed room, with that being such a distraction towards them?
That was the only place they could find to put it. It had to be wired close to the building. I don't know all the pieces and parts, but that just happens to be where the special education room was, but that's where they had to put it to get it wired to where it has to go.
All right, cool, thank you.
You're welcome. We try to keep it as quiet as possible.
Is it the noise?
It makes a humming. It does. It's in, I don't love where it is, but just due to the nature where the other components are, that's kind of where it had to be. No executive for me?
No? Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn. Kevin, Janine, all in favor? All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Before everybody goes, can we set that next policy meeting and then
Thanks for
can we do a
having us.
communication meeting?
I feel so involved. That was really fun. Yeah.
Okay.
I heard that song get like really cool. Well, we picked a good night.